Hey everybody, happy Friday. I'm looking for a background because my hair is messy right now. So let's see. Let's see what I put as the background. Sorry, y'all, sorry. Um, yo no sé. Let's see, let's see. Maybe I'll put, excuse me. AJC, hey Tinkers. Tinkers, you still up, girl? You still up, woman? But thanks for passing through before you knock out. I'm surprised you're still up. Hey, ladies. Oh, thank goodness I showed up this time. I'm good for rescheduling. My hair's a mess. Before. From somebody's car. Yeah, hear that? Oh, that's good, Lynn. Eight, 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 eight. All right. Turn. The light needs to turn green so they could keep going. There it goes. Well, it's 10 o'clock. They, I don't know. Maybe they're headed to a lounge. But yeah, something I was thinking about, you know, some people are blessed, and happily married, many years. But I also know people that are single, and been having a hard time with dating these days. So why? So I've been just wondering, why does dating feel so hard these days? Like, why does it feel people are single longer? Relationships take longer, and love just feels like, I don't know. It's hard to fall in love the way it's not the same anymore. It's just not the same. Um, if you're single, I know I've been single almost 5 years already. 5 years. This is the longest I've been single. Happily married. I didn't know that. Ah, I know JC's married. Hey Ace, how are you? Hey, thank you everybody for it. Yeah, see my tree in front of my house? Pretty. Even though it has no leaves on it and stuff, just the branches itself, the way it's shaped. I don't know. It just looks pretty. You see all the different way the branches go. It really is. You're single but in a relationship. Oh my goodness. And that's exactly what I mean. That's exactly what I mean too. What's up with these situationships too? You know? So this is the conversation tonight, No judgment, no pretending. If well, at least you're in a you what you said, you're in a you're single but in a relationship. Yeah. I know people that are married but single. Hey Lily sis. A lot of people are in situationships these days, and I always I have to ask why does the dating pool suck nowadays? Like if you don't have nobody at all, like I used to have people on backup, like there was always somebody to call. I break up with one, there was somebody I was ready to call or start calling again or something. But I know what it is that I cut people off from the past. Like now, at my age now, I'd be like, if it didn't work out with them then, it's not gonna work out with them now. So why even bother, you know? Because there are people that be like, you wanna chill? You wanna chill? No, I don't wanna chill. Shit. It didn't work out then, it ain't gonna work out now. I'm not spinning no, you know? Yeah, married but single. Lynn, same here. I can't wait to get 7K subs, everyone. Yeah, I can't wait. That's good. Wow, that's great. Don't rub it in though. Don't rub it in. Now let me stop. That's awesome. You're almost there. Lily says I'm married, but I'm a single mom. Life. Yeah, that sucks. I hate that. It's cheaper to keep them. That's crazy. That is crazy. No, but that's good for you, Ace. How many subs you need for 7K? That's what's up. So yeah, I've been single for 5 years. I've been single for 5 years. How long you've been separated, Lynn? And see, Lynn says she's separated. Lily, you're not separated. You're still in the same household and everything. I have 6,341. Okay. Oh, you're on your way. Congratulations. You're on your way to 7K. That's what's up. So, this, I'm single because not only because, it's like they say there's so many see. Shit. I don't know. These fish nowadays, I throw them back. I don't even want to fish. They turned me off from fishing, you know? And people are just like emotionally tired now. A lot of us are walking into dating like already looking for like not forward, but like we already think that it's nothing good is gonna happen out of it. We've been disappointed, let down, misled. So now people want love, but they're afraid to open up. Vulnerability feels, risky. And for me, I just although I would like to date, I'm not ready to date because I want to be happy with myself, because if you're, like I said before, if you're not happy with yourself, with everything, you're not going to be happy in a relationship, and you're going to be expecting person to make you happy when you should be able to make yourself happy first, you know? And then your partner or your special someone or whatever, your boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, then whatever. Yes, 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 and shit. And not for nothing, when I do see people people like you guys, like you women right now, saying that you're married and I mean, and but then again, like I said, I see people that are actually happy and they've been with their, husbands for 20 and 30, some even 40 years and still happy. you know? So I know it's not like it could happen, you know? But when I see marriages like that don't do well, that's a, it's scary because you don't want to waste your time with people. And then when people, nobody feels safe enough to connect, you know? Protection, usually you have your walls up. You don't want to let anybody in. So dating doesn't always feel, dating didn't always feel like this though, They used to be, fun, accountability, people, intention, you know? People met through friends, family, work. Now everybody is like a stranger, especially because people hardly go out nowadays. You used to go out, you used to mingle, nowadays is like, where am I supposed to meet somebody? Walking in the street? No. Maybe one day on, especially if you've been misled a lot, those famous saying most people like to say, oh, I'm not you looking for a relationship. There's a lot of men out there that they say they're not looking for a relationship, but then when you start, talking to them or whatever, they'll want to see you every single day. You know, you guys are out, you guys are going out to eat, you guys are going to the movies, you going to each other's house if you're at that point, you know, and then but you don't want a relationship, right? And then what happens when you see each other every day? You do start getting attached. It's hard not to get attached when, you're seeing each other every single day. And then not only that, talking and texting when you're not together. Like somebody to say, oh, I'm not looking for a relationship. Come on now. Divorced since 2021. Now she's dating a good guy. A what? What is that? What you said? A cool guy. Ah, that's good. That's good. I mean, I guess it could happen. I'm happy for her. Hello, welcome in. I'm not sure how to say what is that? Iker? Welcome in though. We're talking about relationship nowadays is so different, from 10, 20 years ago. I'm dating myself right now, but whatever. I am a mature woman. you know, I'm not a youngin anymore, so it is what it is. But yeah, dating these days is just um my husband cheated and regret it. I'm over it. No hard feelings. Damn, sorry, sis. So you don't think you'll ever be able to get over that and rekindle your love? So now it's like you are supposed to meet people. I mean, everything I hear a lot of people that are looking like are when they're in the dating, they actually go on apps now. Like I don't really hear of people meeting like on the street anymore, or in a lounge or anything like that. Almost everybody lately, I've been hearing them that they get together from an app, from different dating apps. But I remember when before I met Jackson's dad, which by the way I met on an app. Before I met him, like I was bumping into weirdos, not for nothing, just that I would end up blocking. Like, no, I don't want to talk to you ever again. People that get attached, there's some. I'm telling you, there's some weirdos out there. People that freaking start calling you and expecting, they're not interested, and then you start like I got a few stalkers start finding me through different apps, even when I blocked him on WhatsApp, and he was texting me for years. When I mean years, like 6 years, he kept on. He kept on, and he freaking landed up calling me one day. Like I didn't know the number, so I picked up, and I remember, and it wasn't even so long ago either. This one was like 2 years ago. He called, and it was a guy that I had met like years ago, like even but way before Jackson, like so many years ago. And I pick up the phone, and he's like, "Hey, you remember me?" I'm like, "Yes, I remember you. I remember that I blocked you. How the hell you got, like, what? Why?" I'm like, "Why are you still calling me?" There's a lot of there's a lot of weird people out there. He married like that. Oh, your friends, that's it, that's all. We tried before, it really ended and it didn't work. Now karma is a motherfucker. Damn. Damn. And I'm sure you've known him for a long, long. Hey, Ralph. Here. I didn't come on showing myself because my hair is a mess. My sinus is bothering me right now, so like where my sinuses is a little bit like swollen. My sinus been hurting all week. Wow, your first. Wow. So you know him for 40 years or so. Wild. Yeah, so dating is very not the same anymore. You know, it's hard, you know. After I broke up with Jackson's dad, we've been broken up for 4.5 years already. Like, we didn't even last long. Maybe it's because, I say it's because we rushed into it. Like, I rushed into it. I feel like I rushed into it. We rushed into it, you know? I was single for like, I don't know, like 2 years before I met him, and I thought he was like my knight in shining armor. So, and then you start dating, you start going out, start having fun together, and you swear, like, oh yeah, you think that he's the one. I'm sure he thought the same thing with me, and then we moved way too fast. Because then, not so long after that, I got pregnant. But yeah. So, but after Jackson's dad and I broke up, I made a choice to stay single. I have a habit of rushing, you know. I meet someone, they show they care, they give me that attention, you know. They're consistent, texting and calling and, you know, hanging out. And then we rush. That's what usually happens when you're feeling somebody and they're feeling you. You guys just rush. Like, you start wanting to be with that person every day because you like the connection, you know? Hey, Chili. Wow, since you were 14, now you're 56. Wow, that is a long a person. And what and even when it lasts a year, 2 years, longer, when I look back, it still feels rushed because that beginning, the beginning is what makes the relationship, I think. When you don't get to know that person, when you don't know get to know how that person is when they get mad, when you don't get to know how that person, is with responsibility for real. It's different, when you see that they're paying their phone bill or even their rent. But how do you know? Do they pay their rent on time? Do they pay their rent in the middle of the month? And that's very important, Um, I'm the type when I know that a bill's paid, like to me it's supposed to be paid before the due date or on the due date, not after the due date, not 10 days after the due date. And yeah, so and then there's a lot of other things, of course, that lead to relationships not. But when you rush the foundation, eventually your foundation cracks. So this time around, when I start dating, I'm not gonna rush. That's what I know. I'm not rushing the next time. Lindsay, oh, if I'm from New York, yeah, how you know I'm from New York? By the picture? So dating, are you gonna get a divorce or letter word? You're from Turkey? Welcome. And what you mean by that? Date date is a four-letter word. Oh, what you mean by that? So yeah. So this time around, I'm not gonna rush. Um, I want to get to learn someone. You have to learn that person, right? You have to learn how they communicate. You have to learn how they handle stress, how they respond when things don't go their way, how they communicate, you know. Emotional intelligence matters to me more than, that charming ability, you know. When things get rough, that's what matters. So you have to know how that person deals with things before anything serious or long term. I'm back. I'm gonna go clean snow before going to bed, so I'm listening but not gonna come. Isn't somebody off? They should be doing that for you. So yeah. So and then another thing is non-negotiables, non-negotiables. I know, right, Karen? Oh my goodness. And this is not even the coldest it's gonna get. It's gonna get more cold. It says it's gonna feel like we're in Alaska next week. That's crazy, right? I just read an article just a little while ago. It popped up on my phone that it says it's gonna feel like Alaska in NYC next week. Is it? Oh my God, I'm not. I am not ready. Yeah, right. That's crazy. I mean, we're used to it though. I'll just freaking bundle up, wear pants under my pants. Yeah, let me tell you, Uggs, them Ugg boots keep your feet very, very warm. Ugg boots are very warm, but one thing, they keep your feet warm. But yeah, it's crazy. This morning, I know it said it felt like it was 11 degrees up, of course, during the day, but right, of course, right now it's going down again. Yeah, it was getting warmer, right? It was in the 40s and 50s. Like, what? and then to just go down like this, right? Shoo. When it was in that fifth side with just a hoodie, like that's hoodie weather to me. Sweater weather. Ralph says when my first wife was, oh no. Damn. I'm sorry to hear that. That's sad. How long were you married? That's why we are all mad. It's cold again. I know, right? Ah, she was young. Oh, you guys, dang. 3 years? Wow. Yeah, this weather's crazy. Got a bunch. And that's why you different sicknesses, flus, this, that. Like, that's why it keeps going round and round, these damn sicknesses. Like my 18-year-old, he's sick right now again. Jack long ago, I was sick before that, and then it's just a never-ending cycle for us because this is crazy. This weather gets you sick. Thank goodness I don't have to walk far with the. No, I'm not outside now. No, that's outside my window. But no, outside right now. Hell no. I don't have a reason to be outside. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. And thank goodness my son's school is right across the street. So I don't have to walk far. Even when I take him to school, it's literally right across the street. A block down the block. That's it. Wow, Ralph. 3 years. She was only 22. Damn. It's cold where you are? It's winter. Of course it is. It's winter here too. Next week is gonna be time for the gloves, the scarf, the hat. If you go outside like that, it's gonna be, um, your ears are gonna hurt. Thing to cover your ears. I hate that. I hate when it's so cold that your ears hurt or whatever. So yeah, so dating is so hard these days and so different when you if you do date. I haven't dated anybody 4.5 years. That seems like so long because this is the longest I've never dated anybody. Like literally not one person, like haven't gone on a date, haven't talked to anybody even on the phone, text in that kind of way. And I'm still pretty young. I'm not young, like, 20s or, 30s, but, 43 is still young, you know? So for 4 years, 4.5 years to not talk to anybody in that way, that's a long time for me. No, I missed it. Dang, I missed it. Oh, you mean recently or before? If it was recently, no. If it was in the past, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Why? What happened? Uh-oh, what happened? Oh, okay. Ooh, girl. So many things be happening. I'll be like looking for the worst thing. Yeah, yeah, I remember her. Yeah, I haven't. No, you're right. A lot of people drop off. I don't know why. I mean, hopefully it's nothing, serious. Because, like I said, a few people, things, happen bad, and that's why they haven't been back. But yeah, yeah. Who Tosh? Yeah, Tosh been back to being live a lot. Oh, okay. Damn. Yeah, everybody's going through something. That's why, and that's another thing. Marriages, people, I don't know. Back in the day, a long time and used to deal with their problems and things like that. But now people are quick to divorce. They don't work through it. I mean, I guess, people get tired and they're like, no, it's not worth it. Their peace or whatever, their peace of mind is not worth, dealing with whatever problems in the relationship. She only got married a year ago. Oh, wow. Okay, okay. She only got married a year ago. Damn. See what I mean? And this is what I'm talking about, relationships being hard. And that if you don't get to know these people before, getting into relationship and getting married and stuff like that, things land up, that foundation cracks. Like I said, you have to make sure the foundation is very strong, especially before you say I do, you know? That's why I was talking about relationships and stuff. And then yeah, so the next thing was talking about is non-negotiable. Be honest from the beginning, you know? Say your non-negotiables early. If someone is something you don't agree with, believe them. Even if you're attracted to them, even if you see potential, you know, alignment matters more than chemistry. You can't force them. You can't you know, think that you're gonna that person. If they tell you they don't want to be in a relationship, believe them. You know, it's rare that a person changes their mind. You Ah, we thought she was away because she was so. Ah, she is just the sweetest person. Ah, so she's away because of her problems. Ah, I hope they're able to work it out. That sucks. So yeah, so when you start talking to something, and why is that lately? You need to check the red flags in relationships. When you start talking to someone right away, the first thing they ask for, oh, you don't know if they're gonna try to work it out. Damn. Wow. Well, no matter what, wish the best for her, cause that's actually only a year in. Wow. Yeah, so why is it nowadays when you start talking to someone, the first thing they start asking you for is pictures and not just your face. You know what I mean. You know what kind of pictures I'm talking about, you know? They ask for things they shouldn't be asking for when you just meet, right? Do you guys think that's a red flag if someone is asking for access to your body or even building a connection, you know? That usually tells you their intention. And when you say no, some people get mad. You know, they feel entitled, like you owe them something, you know? And then there's obsession. Some people get attached way too fast. They expect you to drop everything, you know? Even even if it's your children, if you tell them that you have an appointment or that you're doing something with your child, and you can't get them used to you dropping everything, whenever they ask you to. That's what they're gonna always expect. They're gonna always expect that you're gonna drop everything for them, and you just can't. That's not romantic. That's concerning. You know, healthy interest doesn't feel rushed, you know? But that's a lot of the times when I was um into dating, I would meet these people. Like I said, I started using those dating apps because nowadays we're apps because if you rarely go outside, if you rarely go, do anything, you know, you don't meet anybody. Somebody's not just gonna come knocking on your door. So I did try the dating apps, and just people are weird. Like I said, they start asking you for pictures, or not even an intellectual conversation, asking for pictures and stuff. Like what? Yeah, you're right. You're right, Karen. It is better to be alone than with a bad one, and that's why, like, I guess that's why I've never been married, because when I when I don't feel the person, I start, you know, I just freaking I end up leaving, honestly. I start being a more and more and just standoffish, and that was when I was younger though. Now I probably would communicate more, like, like I would want to communicate more. But when I was younger, I would act like more of a bitch. I would be standoffish. I would give, and I'm not saying that's okay. That's not okay. And that's why I think communication, is the key now, you know? You love being alone? I know, right, Lily? That's sad. Yes, there are a lot of scammers on that app. Yeah, but I learned how to, like, not fall for shit like that. With people too, because you see a lot of these things in the news, that people going off to meet up with these people and they never come back, or they come back but not, but not alive. So yeah, you do have to be careful, but like I said, I know a few people though that have met on the dating apps. There's a lid for every pot. Yeah, I love being alone too, but eventually you get lonely, you know? Sure. And I got too much life to live to be lonely for the rest of my life. I have too much life to live, you know? And I want to be able to build with somebody, you know? Be able to build with somebody, invest with somebody, just have a good life with somebody, you know? Travel with somebody. Just be happy. Yeah, I could do that all alone, but I would rather do it with somebody. You just have to be careful and weed them out. Yeah. Yep. But right now I'm not ready anyway, but you know. I'm starting my health and fitness journey now, so who knows what, 6 months or so, how I may feel, I might start feeling better about myself, good about myself, and open to dating again. But another huge reason why people stay single longer nowadays is the situationships. You know, you're technically single, but emotionally tied up, in each other's space every day, but there's no clarity, no commitment, you know? You might feel like you in a relationship or something like that, but the other person might feel a different way. So even though you say you're single, you're not actually available, but even more harder. And I did deal with that a lot too before I met Jackson's dad. I wasted my energy with a lot of people I shouldn't have. And that's why this time around I'm not wasting my time anymore. You know. And situationships keep people stuck. They say they don't want a relationship, they want to be with you every day. It's like they want you to be stuck. But the thing is also they want you to know they don't want a relationship. So the days that you're not there or whatever, if they're with somebody else or if they meet somebody else, they'll always say, "Oh, but we're not in a relationship." You know? They give you just enough to stay, but not enough, to move forward, to get serious, And we're all human, Time keeps, emotions keep growing, but nothing is being built. And the scary part, a lot of people don't even realize you know, they're waiting for something to change. They think that something's going to change. They think that they could change that person's mind, the way that person thinks, but no, that person is getting exactly what they want. A piece of you while they're not committed. They don't have to give you that commitment. That's so good that you're blessed, Karen. When I met my hubby, I thought I was too old to find love again after years alone and after a bad one and wasn't looking. Wow, that's great. You see, that's why I believe that, there is someone for everyone. And most of the time you have to try not to rush into things because you might miss out, you know? And if you feel like something's not working out, don't try to, make something out of nothing. It's not worth it. It's usually not worth it at the end. You're trying to make something. When you have to force something, it usually doesn't end well. So you might as well keep it pushing, you know? And I think I'll be blessed. I'm going to I'll find someone, eventually. But healing does change you. You start to think clear, like you start to think clearly. You're not gonna no longer take, you're higher and better, you know when you know what you want, you're not gonna let anybody walk all over you anymore. So once you've been hurt, your tolerance for nonsense is low, you know? So you pull back faster, you detach quicker, and, sometimes that's protection, but sometimes it's avoidance. Stormy, you know? Independence can also become what is it like like make you emotionally distant if you're not, because the longer you are single, The longer you get used to being single, you get used to your stuff being the way you have it, the way you want it. And the longer you're single and the longer you don't have anybody around you, if you do, try to get in a relationship, be hard to change things, because now you have to, if you get serious about somebody, you might have to start sharing your space. And who knows if you're single for so long that you don't know how to let that person in like that. That's what I'm saying. You can meet that special one when you least expect it and in the unexpected places. Yeah, right? It's true. You might think that you can't meet somebody in a supermarket or on a train or in a library, Who knows? Or just walking by on a sidewalk. You just never know. I hope to have a good story one day. You never know. You could meet somebody online. Somebody could I chat, and that could be my future. You never know. You just never know. You know, anywhere. It, but I remember when I was there, it was exhausting. It was like exhausting. You never know what people really want, what people's intentions, and like I said, they say one thing but do another. They could say they don't, but yet want to be with you every day, call you every day, text you every day, like 50 million times a day. Like when you're not working, you're on the phone with them. When you're working, you're texting them. Like, but yet you don't want nothing. A lot of relationships also start with like attraction, but that attraction, it cannot it can't carry the relationship, you know so you have to make sure you're able to communicate as well. Don't just look for that, the most handsome, you know the one that catches your eye, that you be like, damn, he's good looking, or damn, she's pretty, or she got a nice body or whatever, because that attraction is not going to carry the relationship, you know? It is not going to make that relationship last. You have to know how to, resolve issues when there's conflict, you know? You have to know that they're going to be there for, like, they should be, you not them not say it's your fault, or that you're nagging and don't even, or just cut you off, You want somebody that sees and wants to know, and wants to communicate when something's wrong, wants to know what's wrong, wants to, know how to fix it. That's how a relationship supposed to be. You're supposed to be able to communicate what's wrong and figure out ways together on how to fix it. I think the older you get, you can size up someone more quickly in their intentions. Yeah, definitely. And I think, you know, the older you get, also, I think that people are more intentional. Intentions. They let it be known. Like, before, like when you're younger, you don't say everything all at once. You try to keep things, because you want to keep seeing that person, or you wanna, see where where it goes with that person. So you're not totally on. Take things that you wouldn't now that you're older. Like the part about somebody saying that, You know, they don't want a relationship. Some when you're younger, you keep going sometimes just because you're attracted to them and you think that, you're going to be able to change them. And chemistry can make red flags look like butterflies, That attraction can blind you. And a lot of us learn the hard way, you know? When the excitement fades, what's left? Can you talk to them? Do you feel safe expressing yourself? And then the one of the most important things, do they listen? Do they respect your boundaries? Do they hear you? Not are they listening to you, but can they hear you? Do they hear what you're saying? They do saying. Do they even want to hear what you're saying? The older you get, by that time, everyone comes with baggage, kids, spouses. Yeah, that's true, right? Yep, and that's another thing you need to talk about. That's another thing you need to talk about too is finances, because a lot of the times you skip the finance part because you feel like you're in privacy, but you need to know. You need to know if they have debt. You need to know how much debt. You need to know their credit card score. Sure, you need to know everything. So you do need to know these. You start getting serious, you do. You need to know if you guys do eventually get married, is he bringing debt into your relationship? Because no, you're going to have to make sure that they pay off their debt before you get, put rings on each other. You need to know this, you know? You need to learn how people treat you when things are imperfect. It's easy for somebody to treat you all lovey dovey and give you gifts when, in the beginning and stuff like that. But how are they going to treat you when things are imperfect? There's always going to be something you, that's just life, you know? Are you able to talk about it with them? Are they going to actually want to have that conversation with you? So attraction, interest, but the connection usually builds the trust. It does build the trust, and trust is what makes a relationship last. Without trust, it's not going to get very far. And if it does, if you do keep going and without trusting that person, it's just going to cause problems in your relationship. And my kitty crying to get into the room. Hey, Alice. He's 1 year old, so he's still a baby. He's a baby. He's a very vocal baby. So it does harder, but there are still good people out there who want the same things. Yeah, I hope so. And I definitely don't want somebody with baggage, Of course, you have to expect them to have kids and things like that. So what you do hope is hopefully they have a good relationship with their co-parent, that there's no drama, that whatever they had is totally over, because I ain't getting in the middle of nothing, you know? Getting in the middle of anything. And then, you they're having know how knowing how they deal with finances is definitely important, you know? Because if you're a person like me that you're responsible, you want your bills paid on time, you know, you want to make sure that you have a nest egg, make sure they just things like that. You have to get somebody that, you know, thinks like you, that wants the same things as you know? Like I want to be able to travel. That person has to like traveling. Not that, you know, I'm going to want to travel and they're going to be in a funk or in a bad mood even if travel. Like no, I want to be able to have, you know, fun with my person. Aww. Sorry, Karen. Yeah, that's sad. I have an older fur baby too. He's 14. My older. Those are my babies. He's a real good cat too. He don't bother anybody. Right, Allison? Yeah, the finance part of the relationship is very important. It really is, you know, because nowadays people don't know how to budget, people don't know how to save. Like I was saying, some people what a freaking due date is. They think that that's just an option, you know, when no, that's not an option. I didn't know her be so bad. Yeah, because 16 years is a long time, you know, even though it wasn't a person, it's still your baby. And for 16 years, that baby was a part of you. Yes, definitely. I know. I be thinking like, oh my God. I'm the type that thinks of all the things. Like, what am I gonna do? Wake up and, it's just crazy. Like, how am I gonna find him? Yeah, I'd be thinking about the worst shit. Cause I never experienced that either. I never experienced losing an animal, so when I lose Tiger, that'll be my first. Oh, brother. You don't want to get with a crazy spender and you are a saver. It can. Yep. Yeah, unless he's a spender that freaking has a lot of money that he's able to spend. But also, like I said, you have to have a nest egg because you never know what happens. You have to have an emergency fund. Having an emergency fund is very important, you know? And people have to learn that. I could imagine, Karen. I definitely could imagine. Yep. You have to, because you never know, you know? You could be out of work, you could get hurt, anything could happen. Anything. And, you know, you have to be able to have some fall back on. So, if you're single and you get with somebody, they have to have the same, you know, they have to think the same way, you know? And I don't know. Like I was saying, this dating pool is so crazy. Like I don't even know if people think like that. I know a lot of people that they don't even think of like that. You know? They don't think like that at all. You know, people be killing me when they don't even have really their own and they be talking about, "Oh, life is hard, life is this, life is that." Like you don't even know, you don't even have your own life is hard. You don't even know the half yet. You don't know how much life is expensive. You know, people are stressed, you know, bills, kids, work, responsibilities. And I guess that's why a lot of people don't want love right now either. And that's why I guess people are so single. You They prefer the peace over the love right now because it is stressful, especially when you've been single like me for a while. to get to know that person, to get to learn them. It's just like when you're younger, it's exciting. Like now, at my, it feels like a task. Like, uh, get to know them, it's just, oh my goodness. And then I don't even know really how to date now anymore. Like, it's not the same. When you're in your 40s, it's different than your 20s and 30s. Hey, Grateful. Yes, sister, these are hard times, but we need to be about God's business. Yeah, you're right. You are right. That is so true. Right? A relationship can feel like pressure, you know, when life is already overwhelming, you know. But like I said, I don't want to be single for the rest of my life. I believe, I know people are not meant to be alone, like, all their life. That's the whole supposed to meet somebody and be able to spend you know? And I can't wait till I meet my person or my person comes and finds me. I've always been like a romantic. I can't lie about that. That's probably where I got myself effed up at in the past. But but now that I'm older, I definitely know, what red flags to look for, you know, what red go into dating intentional, what you want in a relationship, don't even keep going. Like, like it was, so let's just end it here, you know? Don't even waste each other's time or energy. Indeed, and I'm sure you will find the right person soon. You seem very sweet. Thank you. We need to be able to laugh at ourselves as well. Yes? Yeah, definitely. Sure. I and I want to, when I do find a person, I want to be able to laugh with him too. You know? Laughter is the best, especially laughing with somebody you care about, love, growing with. Hey, B3, what's going on? Yeah, sense of humor is very important. Laughter keeps you young. Isn't that what they say? Laughter keeps you young. Enjoying your weekend. All right. Are you still out? Are you still in that penthouse? Yeah, it is good medicine. Good medicine. Yeah, so, I do hope that, eventually I'll find my person. So hopefully sooner rather than, you know. But, you know, I'm not going to give up. Grandmother, um, she met her second husband because her first husband had passed away. My mom's dad, he had passed away when my mother was like 12 years old, and she was single for a long, long time. She was in her 50s. Then she met her second husband, and they were together till he passed away. My grandmother outlived two husbands. But yeah, when it's meant to be, it'll be. I'm not rushing anything. I'm not, when it happens, it'll happen. You back home now? That was the life? That was nice. Yeah. You look like you was having a good time. Yeah, so this time around, when I start dating, I'm gonna be dating intentionally, not just dating to date. I want us to be, aligned together in alignment. I want peace. Peace is so important to me. Like I said, I don't want no fucking drama, no baby mama drama, no nothing. You gotta be in peace. You gotta have a job. You gotta have a head on your shoulders. You have to know what you want you know? And that's why it's very important to be intentional when you start dating. If you just want to get some, I don't want a relationship. I just want to have some fun, you know? For me, I've already had my fun, been there, done. I had a lot of fun, a lot of fun. Very fun. Had my mate from Sydney travel. How far is Sydney from you? Guys do? Did you guys get drunk? What you guys did? A 2 hour flight? Not bad, not bad. That's not. That's not. Yeah, yeah, smoked. Yeah, smoked and drank. That's cool. It's even better. Because when I was young, I still had kids when I was your age. But I had babysitters. So I still got to have fun. When on a cruise, ooh, that sounds like fun. Yeah, that 2 hour flight is nothing. 2 hour flight is like from here to what, like Washington, D.C., or something like that. Even from here to Florida is like 3 or 4 hours. So yeah, that was short. He went to a one of a kind museum with weird art. I like going to different museums like that. Everybody comes to New York and they have to go to the Natural History Museum here. That one is a nice one. And then, of course, the one with modern art. When I went to Washington, D.C., I went to the Air and Space Museum. That one was cool. They have a spy museum. I never been there. But there's a whole bunch of museums here. Aw, thank you, Karen. Karen says I'm a beautiful and wonderful person, so she has no doubt I will find that special one day. Aw, I hope so too. Yeah, you just gotta be ready and open for it when it comes. I'm not ready anyway. Get to where I am my fitness and health journey, and I need to love myself again. And then I'll be open to dating again. So, so that person still has some time to find me. Hopefully, when I'm ready, they find me. Museum of Old and New Art. Mona has a digestive machine which eats twice a day and poops. Wow. Has a wall of feet. Wow. That's the one that he went to? Crazy. I would like to see pictures of that. I probably could look it up and find it. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, there's so many different things and everywhere all over the world. It's crazy. Like, there's not enough life to live to see it all, too. You have to start from very young traveling to be able a lot. My aunt, she's lucky. She works for American Airlines, so she's been to a lot of places cuz they get to fly for free. So she's been to a lot of places already. She took advantage and she been working for them since she was young. So she's definitely lucky. Free is to get into an airline and work. It's a really nice place too. Most is underground. Oh, that's a lot of underground stuff. It's so different. See what I mean? It's so different. I'm gonna look it up. Oh, you going to pick up hubby? Oh my goodness. Drive safely. Yeah, it's cold out there, but at least it's just cold and not snow, right? Yes, and stay warm. It was nice chatting with you. Thanks for passing by. Yes, thank goodness. But it says it's supposed to flurry these days, so we'll see what we get. I don't think we're gonna get too much, but yeah. Drive safely, keep warm, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for passing by. Have a great weekend. Oh, I see. I looked it up, B3. Oh, I see what the thing you were talking about. Well, in the city here, they have a museum of sex. So there's crazy things everywhere. It does look pretty. Beautiful. A lot of sculptures and stuff. Yeah, of course. Yeah, normal stuff, but the extra stuff is what gets the eyes, yep. And that's what makes people go, your dad used to work there? Oh, okay. Your dad worked everywhere? Sure, the best place is the chocolate factory. It is pretty. And all those mountains around you. Oh, okay. The chocolate factory. Into the chocolate factory. The Hershey in Hershey, Pennsylvania. Beautiful from seeing from compared to what I see, just buildings and streets. Ugh. Yeah, I like Cadbury. I think Cadbury. What are you doing on the weekend? What are you doing? What are you doing on your Saturday? They say the factory over there is being reimagined into into the world's ultimate chocolate experience. That's what it says about the Cadbury. They said forget Willy Wonka. Australia is about to score its very own chocolate factory fantasy. It says it's set to open in 2027. Wow. That sounds cool. Beautiful over there compared to over here. Definitely. That's why I like to travel because I like this buildings, skyscrapers, you know, our kind of streets. They're not, what is it? Like pebble streets or rock streets or whatever. They're concrete, the concrete jungle. Yeah. You get tired of the concrete jungle when you're here. Can't wait to start traveling again. Gotta get my shit together. Because you gotta travel, especially when you're younger and still mobile, you know? Especially when you go to places that you're gonna be walking a lot and things like that. It's better to go to those places when you're younger. Experience it when you're younger because then when you're older, you're walking around. Yeah, right. We have entertainment, you have nature. Sometimes our entertainment is not entertainment. It be the people doing the stupidest things. Yeah, there's been a lot of crazy in New York lately. Like I haven't seen so much craziness in a while until recently. There's always something happening every now. Like people are really mad like in their head lately. I don't know. What some girl that used to be in Nickelodeon, she passed away. She got hit by a car this morning in Manhattan. She was a famous actress from the Nickelodeon when she was younger. Like, the kid shows and stuff like that. I forgot what's her name, but yeah, I looked at the news. I'm like, damn, what the hell? Yeah, that's sad. Sure, and then my dating, but dating is really even scary because you gotta be careful. Cause nowadays they're unaliving a lot of people. These relationships, you don't be knowing who you're messing with, who you're in a relationship with. I don't know if you hear about the news from over here, but there was a dentist who and they were divorced to her. He just did this to them. It's really crazy. You never know who you marry, who you in a relationship with. It's like crazy. So anyway, I'm about to get off of here. I've been on an hour and a half, you know. So thanks everybody for passing through. You know, the question I'll ask if anybody gets to the end of is, do you think dating will get better or worse? Let me know your answer in the comments. Make sure you hit the like button, comment, subscribe, and I will catch you on the next one. Thanks, B3, for passing through.